That's why he's the best.
That's why it's good.
That's why we picked tennis.
That's why we bought that condo.
That's why I lied.
That's why she hates me.
That's why we need proof.
That's why we broke up.
That's why we call this practice.
That's why we went overseas.
That's why I left.
That's why he disappeared.
That's why we should stick together.
That's why we're doing this.
That's why it works.
That's why it's funny.
That's why she avoided Toby.
That's why we always won.
That's why we keep looking.
That's why he married you. That's why he loves you.
That's why I'm here, Rosalind. That's why I can't leave.
That's the reason why she's drinking.